go. All right, take 3. What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. For those of you who are brand new to this group, first of all, if you are, say hi, let us know where you're tuning in from. Every single Monday, we go live to teach you what's working right now to book patients using online scalable methods. And so what we have for you today is a special training class where we're bringing in one of our good friends, Michael Shin, or Dr. S, to walk you through how he launched a campaign that took him from $0 to $4,000 in the span of a little less than 2 weeks. And so we're going to take you behind the scenes, kind of go through what's worked really well for him and how his campaign works, and kind of show you some of the things that you shouldn't be doing or that you're most likely doing wrong if you are running some Facebook ads, as well as giving him some actionable steps on how to take the success that he's having and take it to an entirely different level and put together kind of a detailed action plan of how to make this campaign serve him and his business even more. And then we're going to take it a little step further, and we're going to go over some sales systems, some questions that Ben's going to really start to share and shine his expertise and drop a little bit of fire for everyone in here. So if you guys can hear and see us okay, let us know. We have a new kind of Zoom integration with Facebook, so would love it if you guys would say hi if you're on here live. If you're catching the replay, comment replay so we can push this video out, make sure everyone sees it. But most importantly, let us know if you can hear us and see us okay, and that we're in the right Facebook group. We tried this once and we went to the wrong Facebook group, but hopefully this time we got it. But Michael, thank you so much for being here, man. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah. So for everyone who's tuning in for the second time, can you provide a little bit of context into kind of what your situation was before you came to us, and kind of more about your practice and ultimately, you know, where you're at right now?
Yeah, so the Facebook marketing is not something new for me. Obviously, little different situation than some people just might be just jumping into it. So I was with a different agency. I'm not saying anything bad or anything. It just didn't work out for me. But the reason it's being is just, mostly I was doing the lead generation, which wasn't something that would work in my area, which I wasn't really accustomed to, change things. And the biggest difference is I didn't get much of a direction toward that. Something is not working, but obviously, one of my friend and colleague recommended to, see how Jordan and Max runs their, the system. So I got to, meet Jordan and Max, and, within a week or two, obviously just my personality, I jumped into it. After spending over $12,000 or so, I'm still willing to, try something because I know the Facebook works, right? I've seen it. It just, I needed some tweak around, and, that's where I was. And I was missing the Facebook ads for like about a month and trying to, figure out with Jordan basically and Max. And that's where I am right now.
Awesome, man. How are things going now? Obviously, at first, it's a little bit of a bumpy road, to be honest. I mean, not every campaign starts out super hot, but, how are things going now?
Well, I mean, first of all, I'm more excited right now to, once again, I can work on the Facebook, leads and calling. So, my front desk is a little bit more productive and able to do what I want them to do, right? So, I'm in the stage of where and how and, what to do with this type of, the lead generation to now conversion, type of Facebook, advertisement. So it's a lot to soak in. I'm still learning process, and don't get me wrong, it's not easy to get all that done. But yeah, I'm the campaign took off pretty well within 10 days, and last 2 weekends I'm getting a lot of leads. I think I'm almost at like about 40 leads now. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. And obviously, like, we don't care at all about leads as long they have to be converting. So
Right.
the revenue and the plan to care, obviously, what are most important. So that's what I'd love to kind of go through your ads and go through some of your numbers to plug those in to help us get a clear vision on, just how much, how profitable your campaigns really are, so that we can figure out at what rate can we start to scale these and how quickly can we really grow this thing. Okay, so you asked some questions about what, right now your campaigns are doing really well. You're running a shoulder campaign, a hip campaign, and a back pain campaign. Is that correct?
Right.
Excellent. And anyone else who's watching, if you're watching live, just curious, if you're running Facebook ads, let us know. Oh, what's up, David? Oh, I just met with Mr. David Bailiff this last week when I was in Arizona. And it was such a pleasure to meet up with you. Thanks for buying my dinner. That was very, very nice of you. So if you guys know David Bailiff and he's impacted your life in some positive way, give him some love in the comments. He's a wonderful guy. Michael, by chance, do you have your ad campaigns up so we can walk them? Otherwise, I do, and I can share my screen.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, my Facebook ads.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let me share my screen with you.
Okay. I should have permissions.
Let me see.
All right. So for everyone who is listening, just to give you a little bit of context on this. So when Michael came and started working with us, initially we helped him set up some campaigns that we knew worked really well. But like sometimes it happens, things didn't go as planned. They didn't work out right away. So what we ended up doing is instead of taking a one avatar approach, we did what we call rapid fire testing, where it's basically a strategy that we created to find the missed opportunities that are in the market that your competition isn't really hitting on. So because Michael, you have a ton of competition, right?
Yeah, I got about 80 chiropractic office within 10-mile radius, I believe.
Ooh.
About 40 to 80, yeah. A lot of PTs and chiros, and a lot of back pain and sciatica campaign. So basically I reached Jordan. I know it wasn't anything intentional, but I told him, hey, I showed him like my competitions are doing. I think he probably remembers it. I sent it to him. I said, hey, I think this is why it's not working. And so I think he wanted to kind of let me know there's a way, right? But obviously I took it wrong way. Hey, is this really working? I just try to be patient. I told him I was a little frustrated, first 2-3 weeks, I wasn't getting anything, but I ran it, and then it just, here I am now. What he just said, the rapid fire test, which shoulder took off, right off the bat. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So for those of you who might be thinking Facebook ads don't work, they absolutely do. You just have to find the lane in which has the most opportunity for your practice. Because yeah, you might have a ton of competition. That doesn't mean Facebook ads aren't going to work. It just means you might have to change your messaging. You might have to change your avatar. You might have to change up your approach right away. So we implemented this strategy to do exactly as the name implies, to rapidly figure out where those opportunities are. And that's where a lot of this success started to come from. So remind me, you had a question in the group about, your campaign's doing really well. What you're curious what the next steps were. Was there more to that question?
Yeah, no, that's basically where I am. Like, I know I got to keep going. There's a lot of different aspects, sales, closing, a plan of care. But, when, you know, different agency, different coaching, obviously I've done more than one. So, one, I don't know, after 2 weeks, obviously I'll keep going until, when it's ending, but I don't know, what's the, gauge, and what's your opinion on, what to do with this thing. If it's working, keep going. How long? Is there any time, line, that kind of thing, right?
Right. Okay. So in order to effectively tell you kind of like what your next steps should be, what is your capacity right now? How much more can you actually take on? And ultimately, like, what is your goal over the next, couple months? And that'll help us, Ben and I, put together kind of a custom plan for you.
So, honestly, I'm not sure if the Facebook took off or not, but I'm only doing 4 show up in a week. I had, 4, the consultation show up, and then I'm closing maybe like 50% rate, like 2 at a time.
Okay.
So last 2 weeks, I added probably 4 to 5 eval. I just closed the consultation today and converted to evaluation too. So I got like 3 pending, this week from the last week, and I already closed 3 or 4. So I went from 2 weeks ago, I was doing barely like 90 visits per week,
Okay.
and now I'm doing, like, last week I hit the highest for the month. For the, year, probably like 125. And then I'm doing me, and then I got a part-time Tuesday and Thursday. So I'm actively working on hiring another PT. That's what I was talking to Ben just a minute ago. I need to figure out now hiring. And then if the Facebook is actively going to run, obviously I don't know what I can do more. I'm seeing over 20 patients a day actively right now since I started Facebook. Yeah.
That's huge, man. That's huge. And I know Ben has a lot of really actionable steps on how to, approach doing that and get that rolling. And then obviously, like, we can help make Facebook dial in even more and really start to scale this thing. Once we map out kind of what it's called your ROAS, your return on ad spend. We want to figure out how much, can you profitably spend to acquire the new patients that you're looking at. So how many, it sounds like you might not be ready to take on too much more. Is that correct? At least
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I have a capacity to do like more consult than what I'm doing. Like
okay.
I'm booking maybe like 10 or 8 to 10, right? Consultation, right?
Yep.
And then even the 50% show up. Like let's say I had 2 today, but I one show, right? And then I close it in the eval now. And then I got to see that patient on Friday to, do the eval. Now, my capacity just doesn't allow that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's map out your numbers. So it sounds like right now it's going to be more about maintaining results and making sure they don't just start to plummet. So that's something that we can definitely cover as well. And then Ben can take over and kind of go over that sales stuff and see if we can do something about that 50% conversion rate. So I bet there's some things that we can do to really juice that up. Anything to add to that, Ben?
No, so just for clarification, I might have missed this, Michael. Is a 50% conversion, is that from like the phone to evaluation or evaluation to plan of care?
So basically what's happening is I have a online booking system, right? So the Google Calendar shows up on my landing page. So with my past, experience or the after hour, the Jordan has kind of, told me that route would work. So, out of, 32 or 35 leads, like I think maybe 1/3 of it actually booked through the online. So 7 or 8 booking, right? If you really want the number. And then on top of that, we'll follow with the cold leads that are not responded or booked. And then we're booking those maybe like those cold leads, maybe 20, maybe like 25% rate. I will have my front desk reach him out or text message, right? And then they're booking 1 or 2.
Yep.
So I mean, really all in all, 1/3 of it maybe booking, right? Let's say you had 30 leads. I think I'm booking consultation 10. I've done close to 10 consultation by now, within 2 weeks. Yeah.
Okay. One thing, how fast are you? I know we got like with our automations, they're getting texts and emails, and then they also have the option to, book online in that calendar. How fast are you guys reaching out to them, or are you guys reaching out to them over call, like through a phone call?
So, I mean, I think my front desk are doing well. So there's a little strange thing going on in Atlanta, right? The Facebook, the leads, they don't book during the daytime. Everybody's doing after hours. I have not gotten one leads within the business hours, right? So weekend, like last weekend, I got like 8 leads, like Friday night through maybe Sunday night, right? So we got to them. Obviously, we have an automation that sends a text message or whatever, but we don't follow them until Monday morning or Monday, when we are checking. So we're doing that. But if I get a lead on Monday or Tuesday during the week, usually following next day, we get to them right away. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that was to me a big thing is encouraging to give them a call ASAP. Like for example, if somebody opts in, we're ideally calling them within the first 5 minutes. It's different though if they're coming in after hour or when your front desk isn't in as well. So that's a big thing is if you can get it to where somebody's able to cover on the weekends or cover after hours or something, so they can get a call right ASAP to take advantage of that person being in the mode of taking action and doing something about this. And that's the thing too, is people forget that they opted in something. So the more time that goes by, the less likelihood of them being able to convert too. So Jordan, do you have any insight on that too?
Yeah, for sure. And we can definitely dig into this. So what I'm thinking, there's 2 things that we can do right away is one, we can set up a campaign in our CRM so that when someone does book, if it's the weekend, they'll get a unique sequence letting them know, like, the office isn't closed right now, and at least telling them, if you can't follow up with them, at least we can do something like that. So the expectations are set. Alternatively, we could take a look at, what it would look like to hire a remote sales admin who's commission based, which is something that we're experimenting with right now. That's going really well. So that's something we can talk about as well. But let's dive into, I just want to get these numbers out just so we can get a really clear picture of what opportunities, how much wiggle room we have within your campaign. So what is your average revenue per plan of care?
So typically it's in between $800 to $1,000. So, my,
Or 900 even?
yeah, I say 900 because I'm fully insurance based. Doesn't mean that I don't do cash,
Mm-hmm.
but typically they have an insurance. They don't want to tell me that up front.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what's happening. I find that out a lot nowadays, but thankfully they're all Blue Cross Blue Shield. So I'm trying to capture that as much as I can. Yeah.
All right, perfect. And so something else that we can potentially talk about is having some sort of continuity plan on the back end of this to increase this number, increase the average lifetime value of each one of your patients. Because then obviously you can pay even more to acquire each client. So that's something that we can potentially circle back and talk about. Let me just throw that in my notes. And if you guys are listening on the call, let us know in the comments if you have any questions about anything that we're covering. And if you do have continuity packages, I'd love to know if other people have them. So far, how much have you spent on this campaign?
I think my Facebook, the ad says about $700, a little shy at 700 right now.
Okay, putting 700. You got how many leads? 30 or 32?
40 to be exact. This is up to date today. Yeah, 40.
Yeah, it's actually, hold on,
Yeah.
let's see, I should have access to your ads right here and I could get anyway, let's just keep
It's
chugging
40.
along. Okay, so spending about $18 per lead right now. And you got how many people actually booked?
So you mean initial evaluation or consultation?
Initially consultations booked.
So the consultations show 9 so far.
Okay, so you see 9. Okay. And how many actually showed up and you were able to complete that initial consultation?
Oh, wait a minute. Initial book. I booked more than 9. I say about 15.
Okay. And so you did have a few that no-showed then?
Yeah. So I had 9 show for my consultation.
All right. 9 initials completed. And then you've had 4 book plans of care so far?
So far 4. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Perfect. So this gives us a really, really good picture of what's going on here.
It's
So
5 actually. I booked 5 because I didn't count today. I saw consultation right before this call.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about, dude.
Sorry.
Beautiful. That changes our numbers pretty significantly here. So everyone who's listening in on the call right now, basically what we're doing in here is plugging into our profitability calculator. And what this basically tells us is how much we can profitably afford to spend to acquire each one of our patients. And so what we have here is this is definitely going to be a number that I'm definitely going to have Ben jump in and share his expertise on here. He's the best in the game at increasing these conversions. So I think there's some things that we can do there. But what these numbers at the bottom tell us is super, super valuable. Okay, so what this is telling us is the value per initial eval. So every single time he does an eval, even if he doesn't actually convert that person, on average, he's still profiting about $300 for every single one of those. What this number actually tells us is that as long as it costs less than $300 to get someone in the door and actually show up for their visit, you're still profitable. Okay. And so the real number that we want to go off is this value per lead. So every single lead that comes in, as long as he's spending less than $113, he has a massively profitable campaign. Okay. So his cost per lead right now is about $18. So all of the rest of this for every lead that comes in, that's nothing but profit. Okay. And why this number is so important to know is because if you knowingly willing to spend $60, $80 to acquire one patient, you can outspend everybody in the advertising game. And that whoever spends the most in ads is going to win every single time. And so it's really, really important to understand what your value per lead is. So if you're currently running ads, whether they're Google ads, Facebook ads, or even if you're just doing a lot of networking, it's really, really important to map out your numbers so that you're not flying completely blind. Okay, if you're growing a practice or growing any business for that matter, if you're not tracking these sorts of numbers, it's kind of like driving an airplane, but your altitude gauge isn't working. Your speedometer is not working. Your GPS is turned off. And you're basically just flying based off of gut feeling, which is not a smart way to do business. Okay, you're going to pay a lot of dumb tax by doing that. By dumb tax, I mean easily preventable mistakes and expenses that would have been prevented if you're just tracking everything. Okay, so right now you're getting a pretty darn good ROI on this stuff, but I think the most important thing we can help you with today is going to be talking about this sales system and improving this number. Because let's say if instead of like initials completed, let's say we had 11 of those completed, okay, and then we converted 8 of those. Like now we can afford to spend way more per lead, and our return on ad spend's insane. And then you can just double how much you're spending on ads, and you're going to get that many more plans of care sold. So let's figure out what we got to do to increase the sales number or this conversion rate from you reduce your no-shows and converting the initial evals to plans of care. So before we dive into that, can you share your screen with me again? Let's actually just take a real quick look at your ads, make sure there's nothing immediately obvious that we can tweak to make those better. Okay. So any initial questions you want to make sure I answer on the ads front?
No, I mean, I think you hit all the points. I mean, honestly, Facebook ad, what my manager is telling me is I may have booked like 1 or 2 patients already. Like they're just looking at my ads. They don't want to go straight to the consultation. They're just smart. They're just using the insurance. So I may have a more winning than here and there, but I'm telling you, I've done like 17 evaluation by myself last week. I mean, I was lit. I was like just so tired. Just that's why I reached out Ben. I was like, I gotta hire somebody. I'm like, there's no way I can do this, right? So, here's and there, but and then most thing is like I'm not afraid to spend money. I already told Jordan that from the get-go, right? It's just more of a like now sales, process, slowing down from consultation to evaluation. Now I slow down to evaluation. Now I got to figure out how to close that plan of care. So it's just a lot more question on that end. Like the advertisement itself is more like I had a question on that end of short rate to go up. Like Ben answered it already. Maybe having the after call because my leads are coming on weekend may be worth it. And then second one is what you said. Maybe the landing page needs to be a little bit different on the weekend, opt-in people. I didn't know these are existent or you're already doing it or testing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that. So why don't you click into your $47 sciatica hip and shoulder campaign?
This one right here.
Yep. Yeah, just go ahead and click on that. Okay. All right, so I'm going to request remote control. I'm just going to poke around and kind of break down what we're looking at here. All right, so okay, so clearly your shoulder ads are absolutely crushing it. And so the way that we structured your campaign, just because these aren't getting nearly as many leads doesn't mean those aren't working. So Facebook is just prioritizing this campaign and spending all your budget over here just because it quickly realized that this is just the best one right now. Okay, and so eventually this will start to plateau. And at that point, Facebook will start testing these more rigorously and start optimizing them. So these costs are going to start to go down as this one slows down. Okay, so some things that you can do in order to maintain and keep the result that this campaign is having is you can go into this campaign as we taught you within the program. the images are really what's kind of keep a campaign healthy. You got to keep giving Facebook more things to test. So what I would do if you want to keep this stuff going is find your campaign that's doing the best and basically just duplicate it, but just change the image. Okay, so my guidance for you is at least once a week, go into your ad account and go into this campaign right here, find the campaign that's doing the best, duplicate it, and just change the image. Okay, so that's going to keep Facebook optimizing. It's going to feed the algorithm, and it's going to work out for you much better long term. Okay, and if you would really like to start seeing other avatars that are going to work, totally acceptable. Don't turn any of these off because they are going to just keep pumping for you. But you feel free to add additional ad sets in here with different avatars. Because if Facebook finds a different avatar that's going to work better, it's going to start reallocating your budget that way. But for any of these, they're looking really good based on your current profit or revenue per lead. These are still very profitable for you. So even though this cost per lead is $53, that's completely worth it because they're converting well and it's beneath your average revenue per lead. So still profitable for you. But feel free, just keep these going. If you want to add more avatars, go ahead and do it. But definitely make sure that you're adding more images to each one of these campaigns on a regular basis. Cool?
Yeah.
All right. The other thing that I'm noticing here is we're getting, let me switch this over to performance and clicks. Okay, nice. So we're getting an awful lot of clicks on all of these. So one thing that you can start doing is go through our remarketing campaign modules within the program and get one of those launched because we have over 1,000 clicks. That is beyond the minimum that Facebook requires for you to create a remarketing campaign or even start creating lookalike audiences that we can add to the mix of this. I would go check out the program and get a remarketing campaign going.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Otherwise, these look fantastic. I think in time, circle back and we want to create some new relatability statements and images for this HIP campaign, just because that's a fairly low click-through rate, but it's not getting any of your budget. So I wouldn't sweat it right now at all because all the money is going to the shoulder campaign. But in time, put that on your list as something to circle back to.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Yeah, these are killer. I wouldn't change anything. If you're going to do anything, just create duplicates of the ads that are working and start testing new creatives.
Okay.
Sweet. All right. I'm going to stop the screen share. That's it on the ads front. Let's start talking sales. I'm going to hand it over to my boy, Ben.
For sure. So Michael, big question is, can you kind of walk me through what your process looks like if somebody like books online with regards to the calendar? If they book the calendar, are you or your front desk like following up with them before they come in for their visit?
Yeah, I don't do anything. I'm gonna tell you, Jordan, right now. I'm way too busy, man. I got I almost canceled my marketing meeting with my doctors. I got 2 of them coming up tomorrow and Wednesday. So this was before the campaign took off, obviously. Some reason when the Facebook's doing well, you're gonna have all these patients all of a sudden just jumping in. It's always like it's kind of like you can't really imagine. Like I had like 5 new patients in 1 week, and then now all of a sudden 17, 20, like single PT clinic. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard to. I don't know. It's just one of those things where I can't do any calls. So I have a manager works Monday through Thursday, and then Friday I got a coverage for that manager to be off. So I actually called her in on Friday, for half day again. And she usually don't work Friday. I said, hey, I need you to come in because I got too many leads. I need you to follow up. So she's doing pretty good job doing it, but she's not putting the Facebook as I guess the priority. But she get to them like as soon as she get here. I already tell her I have a list. I write it down. Her to go through like Monday, like hey, these are the leads I need you to go through, right? These are hot leads. These are, already done this. So I
Mhm.
have the process already, some working, some not, and then they book over the weekend and then they cancel. So like you said, getting to them, early is the key. I knew about that, but the lead comes in on the weekend. So that's my, struggle right now.
Got it. Okay. Um, did she
No,
ever work remote?
yeah.
Just
Sorry.
curious.
I lost.
Oh yeah, in the couple question I had was, I know we use a Twilio account to do the Facebook,
Spam
um,
stuff?
yeah, the text message and then reaching it out. So text message goes out. Let's say hot lead comes in, we need to respond back. So my
Mhm.
front desk was wondering, is there any way to text back, then, right? Because we have our Twilio number, but she doesn't want to use her own number to reach him out, that kind of thing. So
Have it.
remote, yeah.
There is an app for the software so she could do it from anywhere. So I would have her download that, and I'll send you a link to it so you can give it to
Okay.
her. But yeah,
Yeah.
then where
Sorry,
she'll read through it. Go ahead,
That's
Ben.
cutting out there, Michael. Yeah, it's cutting out there a little bit. My internet was shaky, but yeah, big thing is make sure that they are putting the Facebook ads at a priority. I heard that part has been the biggest priority. So definitely capitalize on that, because big thing is once they opt in, okay, to schedule or just show interest, we try and get them a call right within the first 5 minutes. All right. Because they're in the mode of, that's the thing too, is when people are in Facebook, scrolling through Facebook, they're not actively looking for physical therapy, right? And so there's like scrolling, and they can lose attention really fast. So you want to take advantage of them being in the mindset of wanting to do something about their issue, right? Because they opted in, they show that they're in the buying mindset to do something about this. You want to capitalize on them being in that mindset, because the longer that goes on, time goes on without you reaching out, the motivation to continue to do something about it dissipates and decreases, right? So literally try and follow up as soon as possible. And then also, for every lead, before any lead ever steps foot in our practice or a clinic, is I'm taking them through the exact same sales process that all of our patients go through. It doesn't change whether they are a Facebook ad lead, or they are a referral, or they are coming from Google or Yelp or anything like that. They go through the exact same sales process and phone conversation as every single other lead that comes through as well. So big thing is during those phone calls, are you collecting, like, they're getting to the deep portion of like what's motivating them, why they decided to take action, what they've tried, kind of their backstory, or so you focus more primarily on like they're getting their information down and getting them in the system and their insurance information.
He's kind of in and out,
Yeah, he'll be
but
right back.
yeah, he'll probably back on there. Hey Ben.
Ben. Hey, so that came through solid up until you were talking about how making sure that they're asking the right probing questions to get into like their emotional state. I think it'll come through better if you kill your camera.
Yep.
As
Yep.
much as that stinks. No, how everyone
Yeah, let
likes
me do that.
attention.
Yes. Yeah. No, but yeah, that's the thing, is I want you to kind of walk me through what your exact sales process is. What are you saying, like talking to people on the phone about? Because like I've called clinics around my area, the clinics that are technically our competitors, to see what are they saying on the phone call. And guess what? They're just asking first and last name. They're asking for date of birth, their insurance. They're not really learning about what their injury is. And so we need to make sure that we're getting down to the nitty gritty on what's their motivating factor, to make sure that's that they're motivated, that they're going to continue, that they're going to not just show up but complete into a plan of care and set expectations and all that too. So what's that process look like, Michael?
Yeah, so obviously I'm insurance based, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and another thing that I didn't tell you about, and I heard this a lot of time, right? So my manager is actually my sister. I didn't tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
So I hate to say, but I had that, and then I got F-bomb from a lot of people, like, you need to change that, this and that, but I cannot change that yet. There's a couple things, right? My clinic is bilingual clinic. That being
Mm-hmm.
said, I get a lot of Korean doctor sends me a patients. So I cannot
I
cut
see.
that. I cannot cut that, right? So she
Right.
speaks Korean and English perfect. So just like I am, right? So
Right.
that business is what based on I'm trying to move away from it. So I asked, my sister basically, when do you think, we need to hire another front desk so you can actually kind of get away from that, right? Because you don't want to do it. I have no problem. But I talked to her today. She's now believing it, just like I was, believing in it, Jordan or Max. It just takes a little time. You see the change. So the biggest thing that you said, yeah, definitely right. I checked it out. The program, the clinical markers, the script, right? And I know I went through a lot of different coaching, program where you want to slow the process down, meaning you want that phone conversation to be a little bit longer, get more information, why they want to opt in, and then what do you want to achieve, and then what consultation means to you and what you're going to bring, right? And basically what I see right now is there, she doesn't have a time to do all that. Right? So to increase the profitability, obviously I got to hire another front desk. Though it for her, we don't have enough business here and there. So like now I've already shown her, his script, like what to say, and she does it most of the time. Then we know the objection, line is here and there, right? It's
Yep.
usually the money line, and you know,
Mhm.
but we found the comfortable price line in our area. Obviously, I already know it's pretty low. Like so,
Mhm.
they may have an insurance here and there. So I mean, there's a lot of different things going on. But at the end of the day, you're right. The sales process, whether you get an insurance call or Facebook, you need to go through the
Mhm.
same process. Hey, listen,
Yep.
this is what it is, and this is what you get. But you mind asking you what the problem is, right? What is your
Yep.
reason or goal, inquiring this.
Mhm.
So I know because
Okay.
I'm closing 90% of the deal here in this location. So
Mhm.
it's easy for me. Hey,
Yep.
this is how much, this is how much you need. And I know around the time how much they charge. I already know all that. But her,
Yep.
she's doing the insurance space and Facebook at the same time. It's sort of like she may
Mhm.
have her own objection to, book, whether it works or not. So it's an effort
Yep.
versus, the sales process versus do I need another front desk or not? You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
it goes on to that whole different aspect of what I'm doing and what I'm not doing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just getting you need to get your front desk on board and on the same mindset and mind track there as well, because it's also big with regards to setting expectations on that first phone call too. Because a lot of people that opt in the Facebook ads think that's just a one-off thing. They think, oh, I'm just going to come in for this evaluation and be done. Well, how we do the phone call is we pre-frame it that, it's almost, we don't flat out say this, but we essentially say it's like almost going to be a waste of your time if you're planning on just coming in for this one visit. Patients in your situation typically need between 6 to 10 visits to get back to X, Y, and Z, whatever their goals are as well. So they are coming in with the expectation that they're going to need follow-up. So when the physical therapist tells them they need follow-ups, it's no surprise and they're not caught off guard, right? They're already coming in with a preconceived notion that they're going to need follow-up visits. So I think a lot of it, yeah, stems from your sales process and getting your front desk on board and going through the exact same thing, exact same sales process that you do with all patients as well, for sure.
Yeah, I've been working on that. The 6 to 8 visit is the minimum set of what I need, and I also pick up. I know you guys talking about that plan of care, being longer, longevity of the patient actually generates more money. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with Medicare
Yep.
patients. Like, oh, what is your actual ROI? Are you asking me? It's over 10 grand a year. Like if you ask me what I do, I dry needle every single time and then charges $75 each visit. I make 10, 15,000 a year, like on a one Medicare patients. Nobody thinks of that, right? So no doubt, all that, my TPI. I mean, I do a lot of different things, but you're right. I'm still looking for, what to do with that front desk and then frame where the initial conversation, how important it is. But every front desk that I work with, including my sister. My sister's a little better. Trust me, I pay a big dollar for that. Okay, you paying the manager at least $25 an hour. Okay, that's how I handle. But that objection from the actual employee is what I've been getting past 5 years. I asked him to read my frame. Nobody does it. And then I rehire, doesn't do it. So I know, Ben, you definitely hit that point where pre-frame and then reading the same expectation with whether what it is all about the sale process from the beginning, right? So I agree with you. Yeah, that's something I need to work on. And I will continue doing it. Either I end up hiring another person or not, really, to be honest. Yeah.
So can I chime in here for a second, Ben? So basically, something that is worth considering what we do with all of our sales personnel is, number one, is we have to get them.
Yeah, for sure.
We have to get them extremely bought in to what it is that we're actually doing for people. And so one of the primary things that I make a really big point to do is every single time something really big happens for a client, anytime they have, something great happens for them, I make sure that they know, because that transformation couldn't have happened without them. And so that really builds their confidence and their conviction and their, desire to get every single person they talk to come and work with you, because they believe and know that if this person does decide, if I get this person to believe and book this appointment, I'm going to change their life. So I would make sure that, you're sharing that information with your admin so that they just know just how important getting them to see you is. The second thing is I would incentivize them to do so. So we give, yeah. Did you have like a commission style thing for her at all?
So that's what I was thinking. But, to jump that gun, I came out of the big clinic to, open a new clinic. It's kind of hard. I'm just being honest. I already told Jordan Max, like, spending all this money try to do now is somewhat I can actually handle some of these. And then, thinking of hiring all that. It just took me about 10 months, since I opened in last June during the pandemic, right? So it's a lot of work. So incentive buys for, front desk is what I was thinking. I just don't know what to incentivize to.
So the way that we structure it, and Ben, you can say if this is a horrible idea, because obviously we're in the education niche. So a little bit different than selling plans of care and getting people booked. But for our setters, whose only job is to set people up with calls with either Ben or myself, we give them a 5% commission on every single person that jumps on a call with us that ends up buying our program. So for you, if the average visit is, or plan of care that people buy is $900, and they do a really good job of teeing them up for your visit, so that person's excited to come and see you, I give them 5% of that overall thing. So of $900, 5% is going to be like $50, 40 to $50. And so that might incentivize her on the weekends when she does get a notification through the app that so-and-so just opted in. Maybe for an extra $50, she'll call that person and spend a little extra few minutes, listening to their story to get them as bought in as they can.
Okay. That sounds fantastic. Yeah. I've been thinking about that.
You gotta give them some incentive there for sure. We also do, you can do the incentive. There's nothing wrong with that too. We also just set expectations on before when they come on. This is like the metrics that they have to hit. And if not, it's not going to work out. And just give them things to aim for, and then you could use incentive bases for them to hit those metrics as well, especially if they outperform what the goal is. So you can kind of do a hybrid of it too.
Yeah. So kind of recap that. I'd advise trying all of these things. Number one is make sure that you're sharing client wins with your front desk, and so that they understand their role. They're not just a receptionist. Okay. They're basically the person who's in charge of making sure that the people that need help get the help that they need. And that means listening to them. Okay. So make sure that they get the emotional benefit of knowing that I just talked to that person last week and now they're able to do something they haven't been able to do for months. That's because they got that person scheduled. So let them get the credit and feel the benefit of that person's success. Number two, find a way to incentivize them. We do a 5% commission for all of our setters because that way, they're going to work harder to make sure that that person's not just booked, but excited to book, because then they're more likely to buy a plan of care because they're excited about it. The number 3, as Ben said, and this is probably by far the most important one, is set the expectations that it's not a choice to do these things. You have to follow this process in order to get as many conversions as we can. And if you can't do that, I have to find someone who will.
I think definitely the set the expectation didn't work out with my sister and I, because it's my sister, right? So I got it, but it's not I still think she's great. You know what I'm saying? That's how far I was able to hit that million clinic. I know she does that. She ran, 6 PT clinic before I move on to single PT clinic. And she had a 4 front desk working for her, and then nonstop phone call. You know what I mean? She knows it. It's just that when she went from that to small clinic, is now kind of slacking time. I don't see no benefit. So
Yeah, the sweat equity.
yeah, I mean that's just how I see it. I was just like that. Hey, just give up and do, better insurance or cash visits, or personal injury, right? They pay well. I do personal injury too on top of it. So, I mean, it's a lot of aspect of what you can do, but I really appreciate this program offers, and it's truthfully told, like I almost gave up on Facebook and then came alive, last 2 weeks. I'm like fired up.
Good, man. It means the world to us. I'm glad that you stuck through it. I know it's not always easy when you don't get immediate gratification out of something. And so I'm glad that you hung in there and waited for things to turn around and put your trust in us to make what needed to happen. So any final questions? We're coming on in the last few minutes. If anyone has questions in the chat, definitely throw them in there. We're more than happy to stay on for a little bit and answer your questions. But is there any other way that we can help you right now to either keep this campaign running healthily, to scale it, or just about any internal systems as you're looking to hire?
I mean, really, the only thing that I'm interested in doing more, that I'm looking for is the weekend landing pages. Because you mentioned about that, right? I was very interested in that, but my limited knowledge, the landing page that works. Now I know what that is. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't know you can actually have a different weekend pages that goes in, hey, sorry, and now opt in here. You know what I mean? Like that would be great. Like, because like what Ben said, what if I'm not available or I'm done with, I don't do anything on weekend, to be honest with you. So after hours, I don't do. So incentivizing or hiring somebody is actually another step that I was looking for, other than landing pages being different. Yeah.
So I will preface this with best case scenario is you find someone who's willing to make those calls on the weekend and you incentivize them, either give them time and a half or just give them, some sort of agreement that gets them willing to follow the calls on the weekends. We're about to release a brand new training that I have yet to have to run it by Ben before it happens, because that's his zone of genius. That's where he's the best. But how to hire a remote salesperson that's commission-based only to basically follow up these people, and their only job is to book, and the only thing they're paid on is whether or not they get people to book. So that's something I think could be very valuable to you. But the other element of it is, so we don't do custom landing pages for the weekends, but what we can do is custom follow-up for the weekends. So let's say if it's Friday nights or Saturday or Sunday, if it's during those times, we can send them different emails and different texts with different verbiage, basically just letting them know that, hey, like we're closed on the weekends, but here's the link to schedule a call with us.
Yeah, that would be great. I think that's gonna change the game, because they're gonna know their expectation is not reaching out right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if they think that we're closed and then they call, because I had a couple call actually came through. Of course, I didn't get to them. Thankfully, we were able to get the show, and then now I booked the eval. But hey, whatever works and I'm willing to do. It just I got a couple of things really I need to work on is hiring PT. Like that's number one priority right now. I don't care what anybody says. Without the PT, you cannot see the patient.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm at like 1,200 square foot. I'm seeing 125 a week. And just think about that. How small my clinic is.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, that's why the first thing Ben ever does, even like immediately before, Ben, how soon do you hire your first PT when you open a new location?
Interviewing our a PT this week for our Des Moines location. So we've been open for about 2-3 months now. So big things I'm looking to hire on ASAP. I mean, I've had the postings and listings up for about 6 to 8 weeks now, and going through the hiring process there to find the right fit. But big thing is, I know my time is better spent elsewhere growing the business. And I know that the faster I can get somebody to step in and do stuff that is replaceable, such as seeing the physical therapist or doing the phone calls, that allows me to spend more time doing the things that are actually going to grow the practice and all that too. So yeah, I think pull the trigger even before you feel like you're ready, because by the time that you feel like you're ready, you're going to be really needing it. And so yeah, I take the approach by hiring as soon as possible, as soon as I find the right fit.
Excellent, guys. Well, Michael, I'll send over some of that additional information on how to actually get those alternative campaigns launched. I also will show you another video because I want to make sure that it's even worth having your ads running on the weekends, because maybe those leads aren't even good leads. Maybe those are the bad leads. And so let's figure out what days the quality people are booking. And if it's not the weekends, let's just turn the campaigns off on the weekends. And that can solve a lot of problems right there. So let's just make sure that our quality leads are coming from where we think they are. And then we'll make adjustments from there. And I'll show you what campaigns that we can run on the weekends to kind of set the expectations better for those people.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah.
Sweet. All right. And if you can get her to, I would encourage you to get your sister or your admin to sign up for the call hot seat with Ben, and see if that'll put the pressure on for her to answer or ask those questions and follow that sales process you want her to.
Yeah, that
Yeah, you're like,
hard, but
no.
finding out what's going on. Hey, you know how difficult it is when it comes down to sister. And that's basically what the problem is. When you have a family involved in your business, emotion will attach to you. I know emotion cannot attach to your business, and I went through that. I still got some emotion, attached to my old business, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? I'm willing to do anything to just get going at this point. So,
well, we got your back in making sure, whatever you want to happen happens in the way you want it to happen. But we'll do our best to guide you along the way to not make the mistakes that we've made along the way. But thank you so much for taking the time to jump on with us, share a little bit of your story, and hopefully you got some value out of the call today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Lots of value, no doubt. Thanks so much, guys. Ben and Jordan.
Absolutely, Michael. Absolutely, man.
My pleasure, man. You have a great rest of your night. I'm going to stay on because I have a special invite for those of you who might still be listening on this call. So, Michael, feel free to jump off. I know you're busy, so it won't hurt my feelings if you leave. You can stick around if you want. But everyone who's listening, obviously, every single Monday and throughout the week, Ben and I are dropping as much value as we possibly can for free within this group to help you guys win big within your businesses, so you can scale the business to help as many people as you possibly can while being able to enjoy the life that you had in mind when you first started your practice. But on top of that, in the behind the scenes, we also have a coaching program. What this coaching program looks like is for 12 weeks, we work very closely with you and your entire team to not only install a daily patient acquisition system, but also to understand the fundamentals of marketing that you can directly apply to your networking, to your physician marketing, to your Google ads, to your Facebook ads. It applies to everywhere, and the rules never change. We help you understand those things while also coaching you on all the back-end systems that have to happen within your business in order to build a healthy and scalable business. So if that's something that you're interested in learning, what that might look like for you, what a customized growth and trajectory plan for your practice would look like, I encourage you to comment me below, and Ben or myself will follow up with you. And we're not going to sell you anything. All we're going to do is offer a 15-minute strategy call where we're going to really get to know you a little bit, understand your business, what your challenges are, and actually provide you with real advice and guidance on how to overcome those challenges to make sure that your business is moving in the right direction. And if and only if we're very confident that we can help you, if we know that we can help you, then we're going to invite you to a deeper dive call where Ben and myself, again, will lay out every detail about your business to make certain that we can help you. And if that's the case, we will invite you to the program. But I will say, we don't invite most people to this program. In fact, most people that we jump on a call with, we end up just sending our free resources because they're not ready for a program like ours. So don't feel any pressure. This call is all about you. It's all about helping you get a result and helping you create the impact that you want to create in the world. And if we can help, we're more than happy to do so. But Ben, anything to add, my guy?
No, I think you killed it. I think you hit on the nail on the head, and we're here to be a resource and help you guys, and any way we can. So
that's what I'm talking about. We're here for you guys. Everyone who joined us live, thank you so much for catching replay. Comment team replay, because what's that going to do is it's going to push this video back up into people's news feeds so that more people can learn from the information we're providing here. But thank you, everyone. Have a great night, and we'll see you later on the next Monday live stream. Later.
See you guys.